haven't released many details about what happened, but we know it was caught on Gaslight's camera system. That's what you're seeing right now. Gaslight's owner tells us the situation did not start in the bar that night. He says security approached two people who were standing outside the bar when they realized something wasn't right.
When we saw these guys coming, we radioed all our staff, all our security staff. Say, hey, these guys, there's something wrong with these guys. So we were on alert. And so we brought staff to the front. And when just before the shooting started, one of my staff was able to retrieve his weapon from his car that was also parked out front. And the shooting started, and my guy was able to shoot the guy and take him out.
Boom, active shooter, active killer dealt with by security on site. I love this video. You can see the active shooter enter the camera at the beginning of the video. And this is the difference. This is where we start to talk about the difference between security and the difference between law enforcement. Security is a proactive measure that's put in place to keep you, your venue, your pattern of life safe. Law enforcement is an entity, your law enforcement personnel are personnel that we love, we respect, and that we need, but their primary function is to enforce the law. So there's a law that needs to be broken. There's things that need to be in place for them really to be activated. And you just have to be a serious thinker to see how running away and calling the cops would allow these two individuals, if in fact what they were bent on was a mass casualty event. In this case, that could go either way, but in any active shooter, active killer scenario, or a scenario where your safety is in jeopardy, you're not always going to have time to call the cops. So as you can see, you see security doing the security function in this video, and then law enforcement comes on the scene because the law was broken, right? So one of the massive misconceptions that I think people have in America especially is that law enforcement is there to protect them. Law enforcement's not your personal detail. Kudos to this venue owner because they were prudent enough to take an offensive action to make the environment safe for their venue, right? And have competent enough security professionals on ground to deal with this insecurity. We would say eventuality, inevitability. The reality of being a security professional is that based on your risk, threat, vulnerability, assessment, or profile, we bring tools to the fight that are relevant. You know, it always amazes me when civilians ask me, well, if I get unarmed guys, is it cheaper? It's like, no, just because of whatever your orientation is around firearms doesn't mean that the enemy can't have a firearm. It's the same manpower, they just have less of a capability to protect themselves. So a few takeaways that this team did that I think were really good was that they were running the protocols properly. If you have a POI or a person of interest, someone who is an anomaly that stands out against the baseline behaviors at your venue, you want to make sure that you tighten up on them, you get eyes on them, you tag them, you have personnel nearby waiting to react to them. And the methods that they use are methods that we've used here at Bravo Research Group for years. In fact, we taught quite a bit of static, having our security operators have long guns in vehicles. We protect a number of different elite estates, and one of the things we all frequently do is have long guns in play, have long guns in specific positions around those properties, have long guns in vehicles. As long as you're lawfully stowing and transporting those long guns, they are a massive force multiplier. It takes the fight from a pistol on pistol, giving your security personnel a tactical advantage, and having those in positions that you frequent gives you the ability to get to them when it counts. So identifying those personnel, taking action on what you're identifying, and then having the right tools to make sure that you have the tactical advantage should the moment present itself when you have to extinguish a threat. Another thing I like that this security operator did was he moved to the head. He moved after the gunfighting started. He moved to a more advantageous and tactically sound position. And as you can see, he did take fire. Two security operators and security agents or guards in this scenario did actually take fire. and therefore wearing body armor in certain venues that present a certain risk level is something that is smart. At Bravo Research Group, my security company, we have what's called a security operator, not to be confused with a security guard. This is a highly trained security professional in full uniform, in full kit, that has medical capabilities, de-escalation abilities, and also can use force multipliers for this express purpose. They're good for deterrence, and they're perfect for various venues like this, estates as well. So I want to give these guys a good review for actions taken. I want to point out the differences. I want to point out the differences to the public between law enforcement and security. If you're at a certain level in business, in life, you have a risk profile, and that risk profile may warrant close protection, executive protection, security operators, etc. If you're having a venue, and the risk assessment of that venue is that you're going to have a lot of unknown people, there's going to be alcohol, or just it's a high enough level venue, there's a risk profile. So being prudent and putting security in place ahead of time is what made the difference in this active shooter, active killer scenario. And it has on many occasions, although the news does not like to talk about it. We have now entered a time in American culture where you need real security. And at the end of the day, I'm proud of these gentlemen for doing their job well. God bless, Semper Fi, more to come. Boom.